think, yeah, as long as you're happy in life, what's wrong? You know, as long as you're not doing anyone, you know, causing any problems. You know, it's no good sort of like doing something and saying to someone that you know, a good friend to, that I'm going to meet you in a minute, and then you don't.
Yeah.
Because you're doing something. You know, you have got to think of other people too.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah.
You know, but I think like as long as you're happy, there's not, you know, no matter what you do in life, as long as you're happy.
Exactly.
And, so I think I found happiness now, because I've been through a nightmare.
Yeah.
Losing my family, and I just sort of, it's all over now, and it's all come back to me, happiness, you know, and I've got myself back on my feet again.
Yeah.
And I'm making progress in my own life this time.
Yeah.
Not, when I was married, I was doing it for my children's benefit really, more than anything, you know, and my wife and everything, but it is doing it for other people basically, if you see what I mean. But now, you know, I can just focus on my own self.
Yeah.
Which is, I feel that's pretty awesome actually, you know, no wife to get in my way or anything anymore.
Yeah.
Or, you know, I just sort of feel like I'm kind of on top of the world a bit now, you know, rather than halfway down the mountain, which I was.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying life a lot more now. You know, it's nice just not having anyone to argue with anymore, or live with, in a funny way. I mean, it could be good living with someone as long as you're two magical people.
If you're compatible and everything, if you're very compatible and everything, you know, you get along like a house on fire, as they say, then it's great, isn't it? You know, if you have a great relationship and you're like best friends and you're very close and intimate, and you know, have a good have a good connection emotionally and, you know, sexually and everything else, because all those things are important, you know, for a good long-lasting relationship, you know, between two grown adult people.
Well, the thing is, I think the first 8 years or so, my marriage was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
You know, quite magical. And it's just the last 7 years it went all completely different.
Yeah.
You know,
changed.
Kind of like difficult and not very nice.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And life can turn to hell.
Yeah.
If you're, you know, you lost your home, or you're not comfortable.
Yeah.
You're not eating well, or you know, and all these kind of things, you know. Which today I feel, I mean, I was struggling 15 years ago, you know, every day to do everything, you know, get things, you know, myself back on my feet again. But today I can just relax, get up, get something to eat, you know, do you know what I mean? It's just nice. I've caught up with it and I'm above it now. You know, and I just feel like I'm not going to let that happen again. Do you know what I mean?
You're in a happy place.
Yeah.
Yeah, a good place.
Yeah.
Mentally, etc. Yeah.
Definitely, you know.
Moved on with your life.
Yeah, but I just still feel like in the future I can get happier than I am today.
Oh, definitely.
That's the thing.
And that's why progress is so important.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not going to give up on my future, because that's what it is, giving up. You know, if you give up today, you're kind of like giving up on your future.
Yeah, essentially.
Basically.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, I mean, I made a rule now, basically, because I like I said, I was depressed for a long, long time, and I think anyone would be if they just lost their family like I did, you know. But I went through such a deep depression, I think, you know, for a number of years, you know, that I come out of it, and I told myself I do not want to waste the time doing that again, or, you know, even when I'm sick, I just want to get out of it quickly as possible. I mean, I make a good effort of climbing out of, you know, like sadness is like stepping in a puddle or quicksand. As soon as you step in there, you know, and you start crying about something, like I say, it's like being ungrateful, you lose everything. So as soon as you're sad, you go into the sad zone, sad side of the world, you know, you're stepping into hell. You know, sadness is not a nice feeling. You know, especially, you know, when you're grieving and things, you know, because you lost someone that you loved. You know what I mean? That really hurts. And I know what grieving is all about, you know, like, because that grieved me completely, losing my family. like it hurt me so much that I can't grieve anymore, and that's why I'm so happy.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to overcome all your grievance. You know, people that die, you can still remember them.
Yeah. Well, trauma, the healing process for everyone, anyone that goes through any form of trauma, whether it be what you went through, or losing a loved one tragically, or whatever, you know, the grieving process and the healing process is different for everyone. It's longer for some people, it's more intense for some people, depending on their emotional connection and attachment to that person, if you see what I mean. So yeah, you know, everyone grieves in their own way. Some people grieve longer than others. Some people overcome stuff very quickly. You know, they're able to grieve for a couple of weeks and then say, you know what, it's time to move on now. I've grieved. You know, I'm sad, but I know the person is gone now, and I have to move on. I have to keep going. You know, for myself, or maybe my family, if you've got a family or kids or whatever. But also, obviously, you know, for yourself, most importantly, you know, because obviously, you know,
well, I think
you've got to look after yourself first in order to look after, you know, others, you know. So.
As I said, you know, like anyone losing their family, 2 children, beautiful daughter, son, lovely son, you know, and everything.
Yeah.
Just lose them just like that, it will hurt.
Yeah.
You know, and in a kind of way, I'm glad it happened, because it's now, you know, like now I've got over it. You know, you think that I feel like I'm lucky to be here, to be honest with you. Do you know what I mean? Because honestly, I really nearly gave up.
Yeah. I know you told me.
You know, a number of times I felt so.
You felt
like I was living in hell, and I had no hope anymore. Do you know what I mean? You know, I kind of gave up hope. I didn't want to be here anymore. Do you know what I mean? It was horrible. You know, just the feeling that I had to live with. You know. I kind of feel it a little bit still, a little bit, but not much.
Yeah.
You know, I'm kind of over it now.
You've healed a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but I kept going, haven't I? Do you know what I mean? You know, I'm still here today. You know, like,
and now you're in a good place.
Yes.
You're in a good place. You're very happy with where you live.
Yes.
You're very happy with your living conditions. You can do what you want when you want because you live on your own. Like, you're fully independent. You don't have to work anymore. You know, you're in a good place, if you see what I mean.
I've got loads of different hobbies.
You know, that's what I mean. So you've got a lot going on.
You know, I mean, I do another channel with my bird loving thingy. You know, I go and feed the pigeons in different parts. You know, of the country. I'm aiming to go to different parts anyway. You know, I went to the Isle of Wight or whatever not long ago. You know, but that's progress really. You know, I've only got like about 625 subscribers, but it's better than it was last year.
Yeah.
I had 5, I think, whatever. You know, but I quite enjoy it. You know, it's a new hobby.
Yeah.
And I'm also sort of doing the filming. You know, learning about my filming at the same time.
Yeah.
And also, I've been learning about film and editing, which I enjoy. You know, and I'm hoping to get improved in that in the future. I'm hoping to improve in cooking. Yeah. A little bit, you know, I'm happy with what I know today, but I could always learn a touch more, you know. But I can survive on what I know, do you know what I mean? And I'm just happy with what I know, and it's awesome what I could learn in the future as well, you know, because I'm quite an intelligent person, and I will carefully pick what I want to learn, you know. There's lots of things I don't want to learn, like biology. I'm going to go there. I don't want my brain to go, because I do understand biology to a certain, you know, like the virus and all this, you know what I mean, and things like that, but I don't really like, it doesn't make me happy learning about it, if you see what I mean. I like learning about things that are important really, for philosophy reasons, you know, to make my philosophy better, you know, have a better understanding of life itself, you know. Study happiness, study compassion, study all these different things, you know. And hopefully, you know, next year I might be, you know, even better than I am today, you know. Even happier, hopefully, you know, or whatever.
Yeah, you know,
because I do really believe it's all about happiness is understanding life a little bit, you know, understanding not to cry anymore, understanding not to get angry anymore.
Yeah, it's all a learning experience essentially.
Yeah, give up your anger, you know, and even like grievance is a horrible thing. I feel like we all got to go through it, alright, but even once you've gone through it, you will start feeling beautiful again. I can't explain it, you know, and I don't feel like I can grieve ever again, funny enough, you know.
Well, what it is acceptance essentially. When you're grieving, especially when it comes to a loved one or someone you really cared about, or a friend or a family member or whatever, someone you had a real deep emotional connection to, it hurts. It can really hurt, because like growing up I lost a lot of friends, like, you know, to tragic circumstances, you know. A lot of them were I had quite a few friends that were murdered, to put it very bluntly. And I remember being young and thinking like, these were people that I had, you know, from a young age. We used to hang out together, we used to play football together, we used to play cricket together, we grew up and become teenagers together, you know, and go to school together and shit, and then before you know it, something happened.
It's all over. You're not going to see that person again.
And that happened to quite a few of my friends, and I remember growing up like feeling like angry in a way, not, I don't know how to explain it, but like almost like angry, I guess, in a sense, like
angry with life.
Yeah, like it just felt like it was so unfair, like, you know, you got friends around you, and like, you know,
they can be taken away
and the thing is that I got a lot of other friends that experience the same things, you know, living in different places and living in different, you know, communities or whatever else, and experiencing the same kind of things, and it's like, you know, why does life have to be like this? You know, it's hard. Like,
why does it have to have death?
That's what I mean. Like, especially like when you're. I remember being like 16. No, I was probably about 16, 17 years old, and already knew probably about 7 or 8 people that I'd known since I was young. I grew up with, or played with, or done whatever with. If you see what I mean, whether it be like going to school, or going to a party, or hanging out with, gambling, or whatever, smoking, drinking, you know, whatever. You know, to know that, you know, someone you shared a lot of memories with, if you see what I mean, over the course of a few years, all of a sudden it's
taken away from you.
Just gone. You know, to some senseless act of violence, and it's like, yeah, it can be heartbreaking. And the only reason I'm bringing it up, because obviously you're talking about grieving, you know, it's like, sometimes it's hard, you know, it takes time to accept things for what it is, you know, just to accept it and keep going, you know, and just, you know.
So I mean, I love my ex-wife with my heart, and even when she was divorced me, I still loved her. Do you know what I mean? And it's just horrible. You know, somebody that you love doesn't love you anymore. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, you know, it's life. It's life, and you know, so I wasn't perfect either. You know, and I've learned from it. So back then, I just wasn't smart back then.
Yeah.
Myself, you know, with philosophy or anything, you know. And I used to sort of like probably shout at her and things a little bit, you know.
Okay.
Because she didn't love me and things, you know, and this kind of stuff, you know. And it's not making things work, is it, when you're shouting, you see. So, you know, I've realised now that really, you know, your anger will go against you in a kind of way. Do you know what I mean? So there's no good getting angry about these things. So, I mean, I must have sort of like, I think a lot of men are like it, do you know what I mean? You know, and I think that the best way to win your wife's heart back, you know, kind of thing, is not be angry with her, you know, and be gentle with her.
Yeah.
If you see what I mean.
Yeah.
And try to understand her, you know, which I think, like, you know, I was working, busy, working hard, you know, with a number of jobs, and busy with my children.
Yeah. Preoccupied.
That's right, you know, and I also enjoyed doing music and learning about music, so, you know, I was spending a few hours a night, and, you know.
Yeah.
And it's not loving her, is it? Do you know what I mean? I didn't love her enough, do you know what I mean? I look back now and I feel like I went wrong because I was working too many hours, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so on.
Yeah.
But you can't, you know, you can't fix it now, do Do you know what I mean? You know, it's just a memory.
Yeah.
It all. I mean, everything becomes a memory, doesn't it? Like yesterday.
Yeah.
Memory. It's a memory.
It's a memory.
Everything.
It's come and gone.
So
yeah.
you know, yeah. I mean, yesterday I had a really good day. You know, yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, a good day to remember. I had a good birthday a couple of weeks ago too. You know, went out with my mum, and that's a really magical day to remember. You know, we won't forget it. And that's what really life's all about.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to remember being angry, or like you get some ungrateful people out there. Don't you? So many people just unhappy about being alive, or unhappy about life, or unhappy about themselves, or so on.
Yeah, that's true.
So on. You know, like we've said it before, there's thousands of people out here getting up every morning to jobs that they don't even like. That's the truth of it. But it's what, that is things, that's anything that, they're not making any progress on their own life.
Yeah, but it's, at the same time too, like, it's a mindset thing too. Because myself and lots of other people out there have to work jobs, but at the same time we get up and we have a positive mindset. We know why we're doing it, because we're working towards a goal, if you see what I mean. You have a job I have a job, like I have other means too that I'm starting to make money off of, like through my music and other things too. I've started making a certain amount of money every few months off my music now, if you see what I mean. Now, I'm at that point now where I've got another kind of like small source of income coming in on the side, outside of like my salary that I get from my job. But you've got to use your job as a means to provide for your family and your kids. Like I've got a wife and kids that provide. I'm a provider, so I provide for my wife and my kids, and like at the same time, I've got goals too, so you've got to work towards those things. You use it as a stepping stone, you use your job as a stepping stone to walk toward, to work towards your goals,
one of your goals really is to make sure your children are independent.
Yeah, for sure.
Basically.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what you've got to teach them, basically. How to be in control of their own life.
But I've already now that not my daughter's still a little bit young to have that conversation. But I've already started having those. I think I said to you before. I already started having those type of conversations with my son. Where I already say to him if you want to have a good life when you get older, this is what you have to do. Essentially, just giving him advice now. He's he'll be 11 in a few months, yeah. So I'm already just started giving him little advice as to what he needs to do, if you see what I mean, going forward. Now he's getting a little bit older. In a couple of years he'll be a teenager. He needs to, if you see what I mean,
thinking of it.
Yeah, starting to mature now a little bit more, and so yeah. Because I think the younger you are, and the more kind of people the more people are brutally honest with you as you get young. Not saying very young, but when you get to a teenager, young teenager, people should, especially your parents, should be having conversations with you, basically saying, well, in my opinion anyway. And you're not trying to scare the child, yeah. You're just trying to basically just give the child, your son or your daughter, yeah. A reality check and say, listen, this is, as you get older, this is the world that we live in, the society in which we live in, and this is what is expected of you. And if you want to be able to escape this and have a good life where you're not restricted financially, by finance, then this is the steps that you need to take, and this is what you need to do, like I was just saying, So, Ed, like you said, like you talk about all the time, is education. It all boils down to education.
It really does.
A lot of us didn't have this education when we were young, if you see what I mean. I didn't really have anyone growing up telling me, when you get older, or whatever, I wish I had someone telling me, don't get me wrong, my mum did support me in everything I did, and whatever I chose to do, she would support me. But I wish she had, because I didn't have a dad, it was just my mum. So, but at the same time, I kind of wish, in a way, that she had kind of pushed me a little bit more, if you see what I mean, and told me
probably because she did have education, you see.
No, but I'm not blaming her. But this is what I'm saying. You know, a lot of people, you know, a lot of parents, you know, once upon a time didn't have the knowledge and information that we've got today, and the different kind of like parenting skills we've got today, like where we can, we've got a lot of knowledge. We are able to access and come across a lot of information today, and a lot of knowledge and stuff that we're able to share with our children from a very young age today. Whereas back in the day, they didn't have so much wisdom, I guess,
because
didn't
have computers.
Yeah, lack of knowledge.
Didn't have the internet.
Yeah.
So,
So
you know, I mean, basically, when my mum was at school, the war was just over. Do you know what I mean? It was sort of like rations at that time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think her education was extremely poor too. They don't talk about marriage.
Yeah.
They don't talk about important things about strength and happiness, or
yeah.
you know, they don't talk about philosophy, as I said in the last week's show.
Yeah.
You know, it's all kind of missing. And I think it's so important, really, like teaching a child how to love themselves and all this kind of stuff. You know, it's all completely missing. You know, and I think like that's why it's all completely confused out today. I feel, you know, like so many people are not educated with their own magical spirit, if you sort of mean, of what they've really got in life. You know, you've got hands. You know, we can draw, we can paint, you know what I mean? Birds can't do that. They can fly, yeah, maybe birds can, but, you know, I mean, if I was a bird, I'd say, oh, I wish I could draw like them, do you know what I mean? You know, but we can, you know what I mean? We've got to fly around like we do. You know, they can't watch telly like we do they? You know, whatever. You know, we are quite different, aren't we, to we're different, aren't we, to all the other animals and insects, really, aren't we? We're quite unique, really, aren't we? Because we build our own little houses and put carpets and things and make hoovers and so on, and we polish where we clean out, you know, we clean germs, we, you know, and when there's ants crawling in you know, people chuck them out, you know what I mean, you know, and, I don't know, humans are different creatures to any other living thing.
Correct. Yeah.
You know, that exists, basically. You know, we kind of own the show, don't we?
Yeah.
We're
at a point where we are so intellectually advanced and inclined that it's just amazing, if you see what I mean. From where, like we always say all the time, I know we say it a lot and we repeat it a lot, but the last 150 years have been, in terms of human evolution, technologically,
very fast. But I think that's all due
to electricity.
Exactly. You know, because that just made and created every, you know, like the computer, for instance. You know what I mean? You know, without electric, you know, we wouldn't have the computers today.
Yeah.
And so on.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's incredible. You know, we have. You know, I feel like we've got everything that we need almost. You know what I mean? You know, like the mobile phone, for goodness sake. You know.
Yeah.
It's like Star Trek, beam me up, isn't it?
Ah, yeah.
You know. It's quite amazing when you think about that. We can communicate from each other from wherever we are.
Yeah.
Today. From, you know, even if you're in the forest or something, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can contact someone, whatever. That is amazing. And video call and all this as well, whatever. Yeah. It is incredible.
You can call someone from the other side of the globe.
Yeah.
On a video call, like you said. You can see them from the other side of the screen. As long as you both got internet, you know, electricity and internet and a good connection, you know, you'll be able to have a good chat and be able to see each other. Like you're almost like you're in the same room, in a way, if you see what I mean. Especially if you're like using a mobile, but you're both holding it quite close, if you see what I mean, to each other, so you can kind of see each other's face quite close, if you see what I mean. It's kind of like you're right next to the person in a way, if you see what I mean. Obviously, you know.
Do you think about man's progress or over the last, say, 5,000 years, You think like a long time ago, man might have been sort of like hitting sticks together, rubbing sticks, you know, trying to make fire, whatever, and learning how to make fire. You know, you're cutting a spearhead, you know, to make a sharp sort of spear, you know, to maybe kill an animal or something and things like that. Do you know what I mean? But today, look at us.
Well, I think something definitely happened because when you think about it, right, the Egyptians and the Greeks and all these different people, they were very advanced as well too. If you see what I mean, look at the stuff they built. They built, you know, like just the pyramids in itself is an example of, you know, of
design
and something that was created that people haven't been able to reproduce today. If you see what I mean, you know, in the same intricacy. If you see what I mean, you know. So I think at some point, you know, we were very advanced technologically. I think back in the day.
Probably was, because like I say, I mean, I have watched things on YouTube, you know, and like some of these ancient stones apparently are really, really rock hard. You know what I mean? They can't understand how they come. You know, like this, for instance, the Stonehenge, which isn't too far away from here actually. Right? How did they do that? You know, how did they, you know, without the technology we've got today, you know, and it kind of like puzzles us a bit, doesn't it? You know, today where maybe we've lost ancient type technology for some reason, you know. I mean, I do feel like we've come apart from, you know, because we're living in this modern electric world, we've kind of like forgotten the ancient world. Are you with me? Because of it, you know, it's kind of like, I don't know, you know, I just feel like not many people, I mean, I don't know my ancestors, if you see what I mean. You know, it's kind of like completely messed up, if you ask me, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know? I mean, like, cameras have only just come in the last 100 years, haven't they? You know, they were black and white at the beginning. Now they're colour.
Yeah.
They've been colour, now they're digital.
Well, cameras are amazing.
People are always taking pictures, aren't they, of each other, you know, they love them.
Yeah.
You know, we're always sending pictures to show her and so on, you know. But you think, like, I mean, I can see a picture of my mum in black and white now, you know, and my nan.
Yeah.
I've got a picture of my nan and granddad actually, you know, when my granddad was a young man.
Okay.
That was about, you know, I think the photograph probably was taken about 80 years ago.
Okay.
Whatever. You know, but it's just so unique that we've actually got photographic evidence of our own ancestors now. And I'm just sort of thinking about, you know, 200 years time, you know, we'll have all this, we can go back in time. We'll be able to even go back on time on YouTube in a kind of way, you know, whatever is on there today, like this philosophy channel, and say in 1,000 years time even maybe, you know, YouTube still exists, it'll still be there. Where, you know, people will be still watching our show.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you see what I mean.
Yeah.
You know, and then, you know,
exists.
by then, you know, people will be doing other things, you know, and maybe, you know, in 1,000 years time, we'll be still being watched.
Yeah, who knows? You just never know. You just never know, do you?
Well, that's it, you know.
But we won't be around to tell the tale, as they say.
Well, we might be, because we might come back as ghosts. Yeah, might do.
Well,
never possible.
You never know.
It's possible.
Who knows? Who knows? Yeah. Our energies might continue to live, you know. I believe our energies continue to live anyway, you know. I believe once your physical vessel, you know, packs in,
well, all I know,
the spirit has to vacate. The spirit has to vacate the body, you know.
Well, all I know, right, I can remember before I was born, right, it was dark for many years, right? Pitch, no sound, didn't hear anything for billions of years, do you know what I mean? That's what it's like. I can remember it. It's nothing. I didn't see no stars, no moon, nothing.
Nothingness. Yeah.
No, I didn't know no one. Right, and as soon as I was born, I started seeing the stars. Do you know what I mean? You know, this gave birth to the universe. You know what I mean? To me.
Yeah.
You know, and